Here we go. Colorado's first conference game, and it is against Baylor, and it is at home. And I, I have so many thoughts about this. I have so many thoughts about this because I didn't know which way it was going to go. I didn't know if I was going to pick Baylor to win this game. I didn't know if I was going to pick Colorado to win this game. And every time I thought I had a right decision or a decision that I felt comfortable with, I was like, okay, that's it. And then I kept changing my mind. And so I've come to a decision on what I think is going to happen and the things that I'm going to be watching. But I don't know how I feel yet. So when I get to the end of this video, if I predict the thing that I came in thinking I was going to predict, if I predict that, I will confirm or deny that that is what I thought coming into this. But I'm going to talk myself through this based off the three things that I'm going to be paying attention to for this game. And then as always, I'll do my prediction at the end of this video. So I will be honest and say, my biggest issue with making this video is Coach Prime's press conference. And so I feel like I don't know why he has a hard time accepting that balanced football teams usually win more games than non-balanced football teams. I don't know why he has a problem admitting that running the ball is a good thing. I don't understand why he's trying to make football something that it's not and trying to overcomplicate things and won't just commit to running the ball. I don't understand why he's okay with having Shedeur take hits he doesn't have to take. I don't know why he's okay with dumping it down to the receiver and he's saying it's like a run play. It's not a run play. I don't know why he's convinced himself that he has to do things the way he's doing things, but I just hope on some level that will evolve. Everything in my gut is telling me it's not going to evolve. It's going to stay that way, but I just have to hope that some regard we're going to start having more run plays than we have in the past. Because if I don't believe that, I actually don't think I would pick Colorado to win any football games, because balanced football teams win games. Even when you are really good at something, you are still balanced. For example, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, insert any college team that wins games here. Michigan last year, Georgia, SEC teams, even Ohio State runs the football, even Oregon runs the football. Like every team that's good, that wins games, runs the football. So I don't understand this narrative he's trying to paint to get us to think that running the ball isn't important. I don't love it. I wish that he would not do that. But because they came out in the Colorado State game and I saw an effort to have more runs and Welch looked good at running back, I am going to hope and assume and think that they are going to run the ball at least 2 to 3 more times than they did during that game. The other thing I have to kind of assume is the problem I have with this, though, is that when I went back and looked at the scores or the information on the Gamecast to see what happened, it looked like 3 or 4 of those runs that they had last game were only on there because they let Charlie randomly run the ball at the end of the game. And that's why I always say statistics isn't telling the whole picture. Because if that's true statistically, they only had 16 or 15 runs as opposed to the number of runs that it's saying that they had. And that also means that they only broke 100 yards because they did the running at the end of the game. So there's all these weird different dynamics playing for me that I'm concerned that Coach Prime doesn't, I'm concerned at how Coach Prime is looking at this, and I just don't understand why he won't commit to having a balanced offense. I don't care who the quarterback is. I don't care who you have. I can't make sense of that. And so because I can't make sense of that, that is why I'm struggling. I think Colorado has more talent than Baylor. I think talent for talent, Colorado is better. I don't think there's a better player in college football right now than Travis Hunter. And I don't think that Baylor's quarterback, no matter who's at quarterback this week, is going to be better than Shedeur. However, none of that matters if you can't manage the game right. So that is why I'm having so many pauses. So having said all of that, let me just get into the 3 things I'm going to be watching for, because I think these 3 things are going to determine who's going to win this game. The first one is easy. It's going to be if they can protect Shedeur. I expect Baylor to come with some weird exotic blitzes and to do some things to try to confuse that offensive line. I've seen it before. I think when Baylor was good and their coach is a very good defensive coach, I think that is one thing they excelled in, was really confusing offensive lines and doing some random things. I think their athletes are better than North Dakota State, and their athletes are better than Colorado State. So it's going to be interesting to see what Baylor does against the CU offense, but I do expect them to challenge this offensive line. So this offensive line has to hold up this week. If they don't hold up and protect Shedeur, nothing else I say matters, because it's just not going to matter. Especially because I could be wrong here. I think Shedeur has a little bit of happy feet. I want to be wrong there. I want to just be assuming things. I want to be acting like I didn't see some of the things that I saw. But I do think Shedeur is thinking about that offensive line more than I would care to admit that I think he's doing it. I could be wrong, but if I am not wrong, it's going to be interesting to see what Baylor does. So the first thing I'm going to be watching for is to see if that offensive line can protect Shedeur. That's like no surprise, right? That should be very obvious. The second thing I'm going to be paying attention to is, can we stop the run? I know people want to act like this Colorado defense is elite and there are all these things and all these things. Great, act like that. That's fine. But when you're playing against lesser talent, you should look elite. That's actually how it works. I think Baylor will be the first team where it will be a good talent versus talent matchup. I'm just going to throw away the Nebraska game, just like I'm going to throw away Baylor's Utah game. I'm throwing out both teams' losses, and I'm going to focus on them as them going against each other. I look at Baylor. I see that they have older talent. They have a lot of guys that came back from last year. They got a couple of guys into the transfer portal to kind of bandage up some things. But this team has been together for a while. They look similar in athletic talent when it comes to Colorado. If you look at any stats, it will tell you that Baylor's defense is ranked really high right now. I actually don't know if that's real or not, so I don't want to factor that into my equation. But I am very curious to see how Baylor looks talent-wise up against CU. I think that will be very telling. And I think that will go into if they can stop the run. And I just want to give some context here on stopping the run. The reason why stopping the run is so important is for a couple of things. I think when you have a high-powered offense like Colorado does, the longer you're off the field, the harder it is to kind of get back in your rhythm. And if they can't stop the run, that's going to mean that Baylor can use the clock more, and that's going to make the coaching staff in Colorado press more when they're in offense in regards to going up tempo. How do I know that? We saw that in North Dakota State, and we saw that in Nebraska. Once they got down, they started trying to speed up. And I think if you get Colorado to try to run an up tempo and go faster, I think it actually does them a disservice because the defense can't rest. So that is why it's important for them to stop the run, because if you stop the run, then you almost are playing a game that Colorado wants to play as opposed to playing a game that Baylor wants to play. The other thing I'm not sure about too is the quarterback situation. Going into this matchup, when I predicted this game a while ago, Finn was going to be their quarterback, and he runs the ball. He's similar to North Dakota State's quarterback, but more athletic. So that's why it's like weird for me. I'm having all these weird thoughts because I'm not sure what to expect, and I don't know what Colorado team I'm going to get. The other thing I think is very obvious: penalties, 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 and not just penalties. I'm going to be paying very close attention to when the penalties happen. Do they happen on third down if Colorado is on offense and they complete a third down and then it gets called back for holding or a penalty, or the opposite? Is Colorado about to get a 3-and-out, or did Colorado stop Baylor on third down and then a penalty happened and then they got flagged for something? These are the games where you're going to probably have to be more disciplined than most. You cannot afford to give them free yards and free first downs and free things like that. So that's the other thing I'm going to be looking for is, can we get off the field on third down, and can we extend drives on third down? So if we can protect Shedeur, which is the first priority any game this year, I will probably say that in every video. If we can protect Shedeur first and foremost, if we can stop the run, we don't have to necessarily hold them to 50 yards, although that would be fantastic, but we can't allow them to control the game through their running game like NDSU did, because that caused our offense and our coaching staff, in my opinion, to panic, and that was not good. So we cannot do that. And then the third thing is going to be the penalties. Can we be disciplined? Can we fix some of the things that we've been doing and be disciplined? If we can do those things, I feel confident. I don't know if we can, but I will feel confident. So drum roll, please. Before I was going to make this video, I was going to pick Baylor to win this game. However, I'm going to pick Colorado to win this game because a couple of things I've thought about as I've been talking. The first thing being is Baylor's turnovers. Baylor has been turning the ball over lately. And if that continues, that's an advantage CU. I think CU benefited from the turnovers Colorado State had. And I think anytime a team turns the ball over, that's an advantage to you. So I think Colorado, if Colorado gets those turnovers and if Baylor can't control the ball because they haven't been able to, then that's advantage Colorado. The other thing is that Baylor is going to go to Colorado and it's going to be a night game. And I don't know why that matters, but I just want to think that home field advantage matters. And I want to just assume that Baylor is not going to be able to sustain and do the things that they're supposed to do on defense to control this offense if everything goes the way it's supposed to do, or if everything goes the way it's supposed to go. However, I honestly don't know how this is going to go. And there's so many X factors, there's so many things that I can draw to, but as a fan of Colorado, I'm picking Colorado. I hope that Colorado wins and takes care of business. And I hope that Coach Prime is actually going to have a balanced offense. I hope, let's just say, I just hope that everything he's saying, there's a little bit of coach's speak in there and that he realizes that he has to do what he has to do. And I know a lot of people are going to be probably in my comment section or sending me a tweet or sending me a text or sending me emails and saying, Coach Prime has shown you who he is. Believe him, believe him, believe him. You could be right. I am not saying that you're not right. However, at this time, I have to think that Colorado has better athletes than Baylor. To the core of this, I have to believe that Colorado has better athletes than Baylor. The reason why I have to believe that is because if that is true, then Colorado's going to win this game. If that's not true, then Colorado's going to be in trouble for the rest of the year. So this isn't just about me thinking Coach Prime is going to change. This is about me thinking that Colorado should have better athletes than Baylor. Because at the end of the day, when all things are off the table and you remove coaching and you remove play calling, you kind of take away and you pull away at things. A lot of times it comes out down to the 11 that are on the field. If Colorado's 11 that are on the field can beat Baylor's 11 on the field, they win this game. I will say, I'm concerned about the field goal kicker, but I'll leave it where it's at and I'll just let it go. So that is my prediction. I expect Colorado to beat Baylor. I'm hoping Colorado beats Baylor. I hope, to be honest, a blowout would be amazing. I don't see that happening, but a blowout would be absolutely fantastic. But I'm rolling with Colorado. I hope they do this. I hope they take care of business. It is a home game. You do not want to lose the first conference game of the season. You do not want to lose this home game. And I guarantee you, you do not want to lose this game to Baylor when you have to go to UCF next week. And so I'm just going to hope and pray that Colorado can take care of business and we can do the things that we're supposed to do and we can out-athlete them because that is our advantage, are our athletes. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Let me know how you see this game. Let me know who you're picking. Let me know if you think I'm totally off base. Let me hear it. I know a lot of times on my videos, people will often tell me their thoughts and often let me know what they think. And this is kind of where I am at. As of today, Vegas kind of has this as a pick'em game. I think it's like a 1 point favor in Colorado's favor. And I think they're getting that 1 point favorite because they're at home. So it's not just me. So if you see this totally different, I would love to hear your comments in my comment section. I would love for you to know, I would love to know what you're thinking. Because honestly, this is one of those games where I actually don't know how to feel. And that's weird for me because I'm usually very strong in my convictions. But right now I'm just kind of like, I'm not sure. So that's where I'm at, but I'm picking Colorado because I'm a fan and they're at home. And because I think they have better athletes. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. And I will see you when this game is over. And I hope that I will not be ranting and raving. I hope that I will be smiling and being like, yay!